Okay, I'm starting with the introduction with you guys. This book is going to describe the ideas of Islam, the religion, and also many of the great Islamic civilizations, cultures, and political and social movements that the religion inspired and continues to inspire. Along with Judaism and Christianity, Islam is one of the world's three great monotheistic religions. It was founded in the early 7th century by Muhammad, a merchant from the city of Mecca on the Arabian Pennsylvania. He received from God the revelations contained in the Quran, the holy book of Islam, and preached them to a steadily increasing group of followers. Muhammad was not preaching a wholly new religion. Rather, he was urging the primarily polytheistic inhabitants of Arabia to return to the worship of one and only true God. This was the same God of the Arabic tradition, whose past prophets included Abraham, Moses, Jesus, who Muslims believe is not the Son of God, but the prophet for Muslims. Muhammad is the last in the line of prophets. The three religions of the book share a belief in the transience of the earthly life, and it is imperative of prayer and good deeds, and our accountability before God for our actions, and in the assurance of the return of God on the day of judgment. For Muslims, this also describes in the Quran, which along with saying examples set by the Prophet during his lifetime, laid the blueprint for the life of Islam. Islam is a holistic religion that integrates all aspects of life. Traditionally in Islam, there was no division between the Western world terms church and state. Muhammad and his immediate successors were religious, political, and military leaders in one office. The ideas enshrined in Islam were spread rapidly from Arabia and throughout what we now call the Middle East and across North Africa. Islam advanced into Europe, taking root into southern Spain. It moved deeper into Africa and through Central Asia, into India and East China. Muslim traders took Islam to Southeast Asia, where it flourished on the islands in the ecosophies of Indian Ocean. As the religion expanded, scholars, clerics, and legal minds took what were oral traditions and engaged in a process of verification and transcription, defining the Islamic identity. From this came a framework for Islamic law, or Sharia, new practices of Quranic interpretation, an Islamic calendar, and many of the traditions that define the faith. There were those who objected to the codification of the religion and who persuaded their own and more personal version of Islam. They were known as the Sufis. I probably said that wrong. There were disagreements too over more should succeed Muhammad as the leader of Muslims. One group split from the mainstream and became known as the Shia. Now, there is what they call a golden age. Along the way, Islam created great centers for learning, which accommodated both theological study and the formulation of Islamic law, as well as the pursuit of philosophy, medicine, astronomy, and the sciences. At a period in history when the knowledge of the ancient world, particularly that of the Greeks, was about to be lost, Islamic scholars took the task of preserving the knowledge and building on it. A succession of mighty Islamic empires emerged from the first Arab lands, centered on the Damascus in Syria, then Baghdad in Iraq, and here in Egypt, and then later among non-Arab people in Turkey, Persia, in India. It is only in recent history, from the late 17th century, that the growth of Islam slowed. Around this time, its global influence began to be eclipsed by the Christian empires of Europe. Those empires set by the colonization of Muslim-majority countries, a situation that only came to an end midway through the 20th century. In many instances, Islam provided a focus for the opposition to colonial powers and the inspiration for nationalist movements. In the latter part of the 20th century, Islam was resurgent, flourishing to every part of the world, meeting the challenges of modern times while remaining faithful to traditional values. Today, the Islamic world spans the globe. The Pew Research Center, a U.S.-based think tank, gathers data on the global trends, estimated in 2015 that there were 1.8 billion Muslims around the world, making Islam the second largest religion after Christianity. Islam is also the world's fastest growing religion. In 2020, almost 1 in 4 people globally was a Muslim. Now, looking ahead, the Pew Research Center estimates by 2050, the number of Muslims will grow to 2.76 billion, or 29.7% of the entire global population, meaning that almost 1 in 3 people in the world will be considered Muslim. Over the course of its roughly 1,400 years, Islam has massively shaped the history of the world in all kinds of ways, from the political to the cultural and spiritual. In years to come, the influence of Islam will only grow. It is beneficial to both non-Muslims and Muslims alike that it is the core ideas to be better understood. Now, Islam originated in an Arabic-speaking culture, and its terminology is permeated by Arabic words. The science of translating Arabic to English is imprecise. For instance, the Prophet's name can be written in English as Muhammad. Well, actually, I can't really read that because it just says the different spellings of it. But anyway, English does not have characters to represent exactly the same sounds as Arabic letters. This is very true. I've been learning Arabic lately, and it is completely different, but really fun to learn. I really enjoy learning it. In this book, we have used spellings that are comfortable for read for English speakers, like me, the one who's reading to you. So I hope you guys enjoy this reading. That is the introduction to this book. The next part will be Muhammad, years 570 to 632. So bear with me as I'm getting used to reading on the camera. It's something new for me, other than when I read my poetry for my other channel. So yeah, hopefully with each video I'll get better for you guys to understand. Hope you guys enjoy learning with me.